Wowzers. Wasn't last week?
I think that the last week's podcast got us the most messages ever. Like the number of people that reached out, sent messages, like members of the gym that watched it, that came up to talk to me and just said like, whoa. Amazing.
So if you haven't watched it, you need to go back and watch it. It's going to be like that little bit of confronting, like, holy shit moment. And we know that just by doing that work, your life will never be the same. And so following up on that today, we thought that we would jump into that deep pool again, didn't we?
We feel we need to continue this because I think we're on a really good, I don't want to say tangent, it's not quite the right word, but that's all I've got. We're on a roll, moving in the right direction to help you create more clarity around what it is that you're looking for in life and how to make your life even more impactful and more special, something that you will remember. And with
creating your life by design and getting a roadmap, knowing exactly what it is that you want and what matters to you. And that's what we want to help you with, because people are drawn into that right now. And last week's messages have just, I guess, confirmed that we need to stay on this tangent. So if you're okay with that, we are going to stay on this tangent. We're going to dive into the pool at the deep end, and we're all going to come up for breath together.
Yep.
So today is all about 3 steps to having no regrets. And it's a little bit of an emotional one for me today, I have to be honest. And we've actually just finished our Rob Dole training for the week, and he said the reason that he started his podcast right at the beginning, or not that the reason he started it, but he said that he promised that he was just going to be open, raw, and authentic and vulnerable. And so when we finished that, I said to Sam, actually, we just need to be seen, show up, and speak from the heart. So the next few podcasts are going to be a little bit like crunchy for us. So we're just asking permission to please tread lightly. Like, this is a big deal for us, just like last week was a big deal for us. And the reason that we're deciding to go on this journey is because we truly believe that if we share from our heart what our world has been, or what it's going to be, or what we're currently going through, we hope, trust, and believe that it's going to benefit one to many people, I guess, that by releasing our shame and our judgment of our life right now, perhaps that will help many other people. So if this is your type of podcast today, then jump in, tune in, listen up. And if it's not, and you're thinking, oh, I'm not up for the heavy stuff, tough shit, princess. You got to just keep doing it, keep walking, keep driving, just keep listening, because you are in the right place. And I promise you that acknowledging and creating awareness around where you are right now and your circumstances can only make your life better. Like, it can only make your life better. And we are here with you every step of the way. So what is our quote that we wanted to start with today?
So we wanted, in the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take.
So that's our quote. That's our quote today. And the reason that we've decided to start with this quote is, very recently, a great friend of mine passed away with cancer. And this episode is dedicated to her. And her name is Janine. So lots of people may or may not know her. Irrelevant, because we're going to share her 3 strategies. And that is not from her mouth. That is what we witnessed as a person going through the cancer journey for the past 5 years. And last week, it was actually 2 weeks ago by the time this podcast comes out, it was her funeral. And the night before, I was thinking, I need to get up and speak. I need to get up and share the beautiful being that this person was, and share my experience and my gratitude to her for everything that she showed me, everything that she taught me. And as we were at the funeral and people were getting up to speak, I actually couldn't bring myself to do it. I actually couldn't get up and walk and trust myself enough to be able to speak my truth. I was hurting, I was sad, and I'm still really sad. And it's really hard to understand that she's gone. So today, Janine, this is for you, because I didn't have the courage to get up then, but I'm going to do it today. Whew. Take a breather. Well, you're not going to help me.
No, I mean, okay. So what we really wanted to talk about was, where in your life have you recognized that there's action that you would or could have taken that you didn't? Opportunities that were maybe that came up and you were too scared. Changes that needed to happen in order to have a better outcome for you, where maybe it was health-wise or maybe relationship-wise. And instead of taking action, you hid away or ran away from it because it was too hard or too painful.
Or too scary.
Now, where in your life can you potentially recognize that, yeah, that I really could have, it would have been good if I did this one thing. Now, this isn't coming from a place of judgment, because I don't want you to come from a place of judgment, because we have every single one of us can sit here and come up with lots of regrets and things that we wished we had done. And if we didn't done this differently, this outcome would have been completely different. And I guess it's more like we have lessons to learn from our regrets. And instead of thinking of them as a regret, I want you rather to think of, what lesson did I learn from the opportunity that may have come to me at some point that I didn't actually follow through on, or an opportunity that I didn't move into. And rather looking at this as a learning lesson and a life lesson for you to make change. So it's not about creating a negative thought pattern around this at all. I want you to think of this as opportunity now for you to make different choices in the future. But maybe you can think of one or two, or some of you might be able to think of 50 things that you wish that you had done.
So just take some time now to reflect, maybe the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. What are some of the things that maybe you wish you had done differently? Like, what are the things that you wish you had shown up more for? What are the friends that you would have shown up more for? What are the opportunities that you thought you weren't ready for and yet you wanted to?
Because some of the experiences that you could have gone on or had, but something else got in the way.
Because if we just take a little time to reflect on the things and opportunities and possibilities that we have said no to in the past, then moving forward from today, we get to draw a line in the sand to decide that that's not how I want to roll for 2023. And the reason that that's really important is because if you want to show up and make a change this year, that is going to require significant amount of different action. And people think by doing the same thing and more of it, things are going to change. And no, they're not going to change. And so we don't want you to have regrets at the end of 2023. So think about, what does 2023 look like? And if you were to have no regrets, what would you do more about? What is the things that you would show up for? And we went into depth about this last week on last week's podcast. What would light you up instead of blowing you up? Because most people end up coming to the end of their life with regrets. And we don't want you to be those people. We definitely don't want you to be those people. So today we want to talk about the 3 steps that we learned from our friend Janine and gym member from Janine that we saw as we watched her journey in the past 5 years. So the first step to not having regrets is never giving up, is just never give up, no matter what. Just don't give up. Step number 2 is you do you. You do you, because it's your life, no one else's life, and no one else is going to get to the end of your life and say, I wish I had done that for her. It's you, and you. And number 3 is live your best life. Live your best life. So let's look at step number 1. So step number 1 is never give up. And why does that matter? Because sometimes when we're this close, the road changes. How many times have you ever experienced when you think, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it anymore. And you just give up. And then all of a sudden, the path is revealed. You give it one more try, just one more shot. Maybe it's talking to your children, and all of a sudden they're trying to do something, you're teaching them something, you think, I just can't do that anymore. No. They've been crawling now for 3 months, and I'm not going to let them crawl for another day. That's it. Imagine if you just gave up on your children and they were going to be crawlers for the rest of their life, and you never celebrated them, you never supported them, you just bullied them and had an expectation that they had to do it in a certain amount of time frame. You see, we're the type of people that believe that everything happens the way that it is meant to happen. I didn't say I'm happy about it. Let's be really clear. Like, sometimes I want to be able to make things happen a lot quicker. And when we think about this, because we work with a lot of women specifically that are always in a rush to go through their life. So maybe you can relate to that. Maybe you are that person. Maybe you feel that you're not good enough and you're not worthy enough, and you're constantly running to the next project, right? And if that's you, I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. It is normal for you to want to be able to run. We're just saying, slow down, because just because you think it should take that long, it doesn't mean that it has to take that long. You're like, well, why didn't it take that long? Right? And I'm just going bigger to shorter. Well, everything has an incubation. Thank you, Sam. Right? Period. So think about a pregnant woman. Imagine that. Nope, I'm not waiting 9 months. I only want the baby to pop out in 3 months.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It's not going to work.
Everything happens for a reason. So we need to be okay that, and trusting and believing in the universe, or that there's a bigger spiritual element involved here, that everything is always happening for our greatest good. Everything is always happening for our greatest good. And we may not understand it at the time. But the one thing that we noticed with Janine is when she first got diagnosed with cancer,
5 years
ago. Didn't it?
She basically went straight into a massive surgery, almost straight away. Like, they found out that she had bowel cancer, went into, was it Waikato Hospital, had a 12-hour surgery. And while she was actually in surgery, they put chemo through her right there and then on the spot, like while she was still in surgery. And they ran chemo right through her body to try and get all the little bits of the cancer and to make sure that they got all of it. And like that in itself, the fact that she actually even survived that surgery right at the start, because the cancer was quite well through her body already. The fact that she survived that is a miracle. And she never gave up. She changed her whole life because she was determined that she was going to live. So she changed her nutrition. She changed her lifestyle. She changed her stress levels. She changed everything that she had the power to change. She changed, and she never gave up. Not right to the very end. She did never, ever, ever give up.
So I'm curious, where are you giving up in your life right now? Where are you not showing up 100%? Where are you giving your power away? Like, if you look at your life right now, there'll be areas that you're getting fulfillment, and there's areas that you're getting frustration. Where are you giving your power away, and where are you giving up too soon? Because that's not okay. You just got to keep going. You just got to show up. And you just got to have another go. And there's days and moments and times that you just think, I can't do this anymore. And then there's a part of you that says, okay, I've got to do one more step. Just one little step. So that's our first lesson for not having regrets, right?
Yeah. Can I just add one more thing in there? I think it's really important. If you look at any successful person in the world, you read their biography, you watch a movie about them, look at Elton John, Queen, all of those. Sorry? Oprah. You look at Elvis. You look at any successful, what's his name? Richard Branson, you name it. Successful humans on the planet have all had to keep pushing. They never gave up to get where they are. When they got to their first hurdle, they didn't go, oh, this is too hard, and give up. they broke through that hurdle. They then get to the next one. And, it's not supposed to be an easy path. We all think that life should be easy and everything should just come to us.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Oh, wouldn't it be amazing?
That'd be amazing.
And that all these successful people out there, it was just given to them. Elton John was just like an awesome singer, made millions and was amazing. And his songs are awesome and everything's fancy and wonderful in his world. But there's so much that happened to get him to where he's going, just like Richard Branson and Donald Trump and everybody. No one just had it handed to them on a platter.
There's a lot of rejection and a lot of judgment that comes, and soul searching that comes from that. So number 1 is never give up. Okay, number 2 is you do you. Whew, why does this matter? I'll tell you why it matters, because it's your life. Like, it's not your mother's life. It's not your brother's life. It's not your partner's life. It's your life. So when you get to the end, you can't turn around and say, I wish that person did that for me. I wish I had done that, and I wish I could have done that. So when you do you, there are no regrets. When you put your needs first and you step into your desires and you show up unapologetic for you, there are no regrets. And no one has the right to judge the way that you live. Nobody. Now, isn't that interesting? Because Janine, she did her, right? She stood up for herself and she did her. So with all of her treatments, a lot of her treatments she did naturally. She invested a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy into seeking everything and anything. Like, she did the mindset work. She did the reading of books. She did the coaching. She did the all the different types of treatments. She also didn't get vaccinated. And she chose not to get vaccinated because she did the research. She did the research knowing, right, that this was going to be one of the things that would potentially limit her life. And this is where I ended up forming a lot stronger relationship with Janine, because I also chose not to get vaccinated, because I also did the research. And what I learned through her and what we did together by, standing up for ourselves and you doing you, was that every single person is on their own journey. Everybody is on their own journey. And when you're on your own journey, it can feel very isolating. You can feel like you've been abandoned. You can feel like you've been ostracized. You can feel like you've been judged. You can feel alienated. You can feel like you're wrong, like you're not good enough. And we would have these conversations because, like, I look back at it 12 months ago, it was craziness. Like, it was absolute
madness.
I'm just going to be blunt, fucking nuts. Like, it was nuts. Like,
whoever would have thought that in the 21st century, we could go back to actually making a specific part of society feel like they are not worthy and not good enough. This is the sort of stuff that Hitler would have done. It's the sort of stuff that you see in with racism and apartheidism, and where a certain segment of society who have chosen to do whatever they want, the freedom of speech. This is, we all push freedom of speech, and we all have freedom to do what we want. This is my body. We've been taught that our whole life. And now suddenly we all just bow down to higher authorities that have made a decision that everybody must be one way, and this and that's it. And if you don't fit, you're outcast. And we did that to people across the globe. We have outcast specific people in society for making a choice about their own body. Like, if we had talked about this 5 years ago, there would have been mayhem. Can you imagine how the papers and the radio would have gone on about this situation actually having taken place? Like, it is not okay. It is not okay to treat people differently. And we've grown up I've grown up in apartheidism in South Africa. So the division between black and white, I grew up in that. Being lesbians, you grow up where you're not accepted because you're a lesbian, you're a freak, right? There are so many situations over time, and we've all sort of come out of those, and the world has progressed into a new place where everyone is accepted, who no matter who you are. And then suddenly COVID came along, and if you weren't vaccinated, you now were not accepted. It was another form of segregation.
It's pretty horrific to think that this was okay by some people's standards. And, you know, lots of people lost friends over it. Families were breaking up about it. And, you know, Janine was judged for it. I was judged for it. I couldn't even work in my own business that I'd owned for 18 years. Like this time last year, was I in the business?
No, April.
I wasn't even allowed to, like, for however many months, like nearly a year, I was not allowed to set foot into my business that I've been paying taxes for. We had a property that I couldn't even go to the rubbish tip. Like we were in Hamilton and we would load a trailer. I didn't have a Vax pass, so I couldn't get some rubbish from a property and put it into a tip. We couldn't go to the
Like, it's
library.
the dirtiest place on the planet. And if you're not vaccinated, you are not allowed to go to literally the dirtiest place in every city, the dump. I mean, honestly.
We couldn't even, like, I remember going to Subway when we were in Hamilton, and Sam's just like, come in, babe. And I was like, I can't just go in. And she's like, it's Subway. And she went in there and they're like, we need to have your Vax pass to walk into a Subway. And me and Janine would talk about this, because we ended up having a virtual gym outside for people that had chosen to not be vaccinated. And we would talk about these things. And I would say to her, is this worth it? Because, you know, people would have an opinion because they're coming from a place of fear. And she'd say, Ursh, this is going to kill me if I do this. I'm just going to, and I'm like, I totally get you. I feel you. You know, we've done the homework. This is the decision, the best decision for you. Just other people have made their own decision for whatever reason. It's irrelevant. It's actually none of my business. And because people had fear, they projected fear onto other people. So I'm wondering where you've done that in your life. Maybe you've been scared about something, so you project your fear onto someone else, and then that makes them change their mind so that they don't stand up for themselves. They don't stand up for themselves. Because what I saw with her is courage and bravery. And I was inspired by that. And she was like a soul survivor for me, that when I was getting judged and when people would alienate me, and when people would try to say to me, you know, this is okay, Ursh, because you've got this liver disease and we understand that. You know, I was lucky because I had compassion from people, but I've definitely lost friends over this, and I've definitely had big debates about this, and people, you know, mentally and emotionally, it had a massive impact on me. There was a person that I could talk to about it. And when we spoke about it together, after we spoke about the ludicrousness of it, like Ursh, I can't even go to the library. I can't even go to a cafe and pick up a coffee. I can't even get my nails done. I can't even get my hair cut. I'm like, it is insane how limited the lifestyle became if you chose not to have a medical treatment, right? It was just insane. And we spoke about this at length, and I said, wouldn't it be nice if we just loved more and judged less? So you do you, whatever that looks like for you, whatever that looks like for you. Live your best life unapologetic about how you show up in the world. And if it's not having an impact on other people, like, I'm not saying go out and do something completely insane and mess other people's worlds up. But by me and Janine not being vaccinated, it didn't mess other people's world up. Well, it did actually, because it had an impact on our business and it had an impact on my clients. However, you have to do you, regardless of what's going on external to you. Because at the end of your life, you have to turn around and say, did I make the right decision for me? So hand on heart, go out there, you do you. And it's not just about the vaccination, it's about
anything.
How are you showing up in your job? Is that the best person that you want to be? Like, if you want to have children, if you want to adopt children, like, you do you. Because so many people are so busy judging. They're judging when they need to look in the damn mirror. Because if you're judging, you're projecting that judgment onto other people. And that's not okay. How about loving people and meeting them wherever they are on their journey right now? Because I know for a fact that my friend was scared. She lived in fear for her life. And many, many days, she had to justify why she didn't take that medical treatment. She wasted energy and time having to validate other people's fears. And I think that was a waste of time. And so I look back now and I think, how about we just love more, judge less? So you do you, and have compassion for where other people are at in their life right now, regardless. If you don't agree with it, that's okay. It's not your damn life. Like, it's not impacting you. It is actually not impacting you, and yet you still want to project your fears. How do I know that? Because I have been that person and I can be that person. I'm certainly not perfect. I mess up all the time. How about you? Do you do it too? So let's do more love for this year, and then we'll have less regrets. Okay, number 3.
Oh, this is one of my favorite ones here. Create crazy, cool memories. And this is kind of what we talked about last week. You've got to get out there and live and enjoy your life and create memories.
Why does it matter, Sam?
Well, because at the end of the day, all the stuff you own and all the jobs you had and all the status you might have had in a job means nothing. It's the memories that you've made with people you care about. That's the shit you're going to remember when you're lying in your deathbed, hopefully when you're in your 90s and your 100s. You're going to look back on, remember when we did this, and I remember when we did that, and I remember when this happened, and remember when we went here and we did this thing, and you said that thing, and then we did that crazy thing. Those are the gifts that you can't pay enough money to walk away with memories. The memories that you get are priceless. They will stay with you forever. They're deep inside you, and they make you into the person that you become in your future. So the more memories you create now with friends, we call them, this is Ginny Jones, one of our great friends. She goes, it's all about creating memories. She taught us a few years ago. It's all about creating memories. You need to spend more time with your family and your friends and create memories. So we do. And we do crazy cool memories all the time. We go and do things together. We create, we laugh. We do different things because memories are way more important than gifts. And I think that a lot of the times we're so busy trying to become something bigger and earn more money and go up, get a promotion and buy more houses,
the new car, buy the new house,
60-inch TV and the jet ski and the boat. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a jet ski and a boat.
And if you have one, just let us know because we'll come out jet skiing.
There's not many crazy cool memories that you're going to have on your jet ski and out on your boat with friends.
So long as it's not in the garage, just sitting there collecting dust.
So it is about making sure you live your life, because you don't want to spend your whole life just earning money so that you can die and give it to your children who then just pay off a mortgage and carry on. And they, what are you teaching your kids? What are you teaching the people you care about? And what have you enjoyed in your life? Like, there's nothing worse than people that have worked their whole life, then they retire, and then one of like a husband or a wife passes away before they had an opportunity to go and travel, and they've always waited till we retire and then we're going to travel, and then something horrible happens.
So create those crazy cool memories. And when we went to visit Janine in her home, she has a massive wall with all of the pictures of all of their trips in the last 5 years and way back before that. And when we were in Bora Bora last year, she messaged us and said, Ursh, I don't think I'm going to make it to Dubai. And again, she could have gone earlier if they didn't have restrictions. So she was healthy enough months before, but because we were select on the countries that we were allowed into, we couldn't travel. Like, we actually couldn't travel to Australia being unvaccinated. You still can't travel to Bali right now, and you still can't get into America. It is insane. So she had this beautiful trip planned, and she said, Ursh, I'm not well enough to go to Europe. And she said, what do you think? Do you think I should go to Bora Bora? Where else do you think I should go? I said, head to Raro. It's a 3-hour trip. Get there and just go and create some crazy cool memories with your girls. And that's what she did. That's exactly what she did. And I'm sure that those photos will now be up on her wall, because those girls, her daughters, her whole reason for fighting so hard, will now have crazy cool memories of mum and them doing life, just being in life. Like not just being reactive all the time, but actually living in the moment. And we live. We remember in our head. And so once we left Janine's place and I said to Sam, that's it, we're going to just put some more photos up. And just last week, I got, I don't know how many picture frames, lots of picture frames, probably 15 of them. And we've just put our wedding up. And I've got my wedding photos in different places in the house. But I was like, we have a blank wall. And as most of you know, our fur baby's also on a very limited time schedule. And we're all probably on a limited time schedule. Let me remind you. So instead of waiting for us to go and for our fur baby to go, we put them up on our wall. Why? Because we want to remember the good shit and we want more of that. So if you've created some crazy cool memories, don't leave them in your camera, don't leave them in your phone, put them in photo frames, put them up on your wall, because what we think about and what we see, we're bringing into our brain all the time. And if you want to create crazy cool memories, surround yourself with them. Put them everywhere, because when you look at your photos of the memories, and we call it craffle, crazy, ridiculous, amazing, fun-filled life, right? If you have a craffle life, how much more fulfilled would you be?
No regrets.
No regrets whatsoever. So there you have it. Never give up. You do you. And this is it. Go and create a crazy, ridiculous, amazing, fun-filled life so that you don't have to have regrets. When your time is up, you've done it. You've been out and you've experienced it. You've lived your life for you. So until next week, where we're going to dive a little bit deeper into how I've been struggling with suicide tendencies in the last month. So it's going to be a pretty heavy episode next week. So until then, everybody, don't forget to go out there and sprinkle some magic on everybody, because you don't know who needs some love and compassion right now. Till next week. See you, everyone. If you loved this episode today, like if you loved it, even if you just liked it a little bit, that would help. We would love to ask you a huge favor. Can you please, a million times, please, subscribe to our channel.
Push the button below. Just push it now before you forget. Just push it.
You can do it.
Because not only will you never miss an episode ever again,
never.
You'll always be there, but then you'll also help other people find us, because the more people that watch us, the more people that will get our message, and then more people will be part of our podcast. Wouldn't that be awesome?
And we can't not see you and hear you every week, can we? We just can't. So just do it. Just do it.
Just push the button.
Eat the frog. Do it now.
It's right down there.
Go. Just do it for us. That'll be like the best present you could ever give us. Thank you.
Bye.